Hi, this is Pat Brough from Fink & Paris Insurance Agency. Welcome to our podcast, Local and Mighty, the podcast about Massachusetts personal and commercial insurance in plain English, mixed in with a little bit of fun. Hello and welcome to episode 8 of the Fink & Paris podcast, Local and Mighty, and the first for the year 2020. It's me, Pat Brough, and this episode's guest is the owner of Fink & Paris Insurance Agency, Gen Brough. Hey, Jen.
Hello.
So I'm sure some of you may have noticed the last name. That is because I actually married Gen Brough. Jen Lecco, actually, but now she is Gen Brough and the owner of the agency. So, of course, thank you for joining me in this episode. For this episode, I think it was easy to convince you to do it because a lot of times you've been doing a lot of the videos, and I said that we were not going to do a video. We were just going to talk on, we're going to talk to the computer. So here we are talking to the computer, and you're not on video. So that's good.
You are correct. That is the only reason why I agreed to do this with you.
So we started this podcast. At the start of every one of these podcasts, we give everyone a few minutes who joins us, any one of our guests. So we give them a few minutes to kind of tell everyone who they are and how they got here into the world of insurance. And so, Jen, take it away. Let's hear a little bit about you and how you got here.
Well, the running joke is that none of us ever end up in insurance on purpose, which I did not end up here on purpose. I answered an ad in the Gazette for a customer service rep back in 1994, and I was lucky enough to be hired at that time by Dick Paris. I started as a customer service rep with no experience. Within a couple of years, I decided to take on some more responsibilities and did the bookkeeping, and then I added some office management into that, and then I added the computers, and then I added human resources, I added payroll, everything. And slowly but surely, I kind of just took on more responsibility, and Dick trusted me enough to give me that responsibility. And then in 2004, I had the opportunity to become a partner with Roger and Joanne Fink and Dick Paris, and I chose to do that back in 2004. And then in 2015, Dick and Roger decided that they were going to retire. So
Lucky.
Yeah, exactly. I was able to buy out Roger, Joanne, and Dick and become the sole owner of Fink & Paris Insurance Agency. So that's kind of how I started in the business and where I am now.
Yeah. And so you're a longtime resident of East Hampton as well. You've born and raised here?
Correct. Born and raised. My parents came to this country in 1972 from Poland.
Yep.
I had first class accommodations because my mother was pregnant with me, and was very lucky that they were able to immigrate to the United States. And I'm the epitome of the American dream because my parents worked in a factory, and here I am. I own a business now, so it's kind of cool. It
is very cool, and a factory right here in East Hampton, actually, which
Correct.
is another little fun fact for everyone. So the last podcast. So thank you, Jen. Thanks for giving us that scoop on you and how you got here. And so it's been a while. If you listened to the podcast before, the last time we did this was back in February. We were talking to Paul. We were talking boats. We were talking about all the great things we were going to do this summer. Paul gave us kind of the rundown on who you needed to talk to if you wanted to find a place to put a boat or where you're going to buy a boat and how you're going to insure that, obviously. And then things took a little bit of a turn. As everybody knows, the coronavirus has affected everyone in some way, shape, or form. And so we didn't really have too many podcasts when that started back in March. But we have been doing things. There's been a lot of stuff that's been going on here at the agency, not just, running the insurance for everyone, but we've been doing some stuff. So I thought we would take just a couple of minutes to kind of give you a rundown as to what's been happening here at the agency so everyone knows. Back in March, we did send everybody home. That had to be a pretty strange feeling, Jen, right?
Correct. So I've worked here over 26 years, and, my former business partner used to always say, we never close because we're always here for our clients. So if there's a storm or if there's a hurricane, we can't close our doors. We have to be here just in case they call. And so when I had to actually sit down and think about locking our doors for the first time, I think I didn't sleep for that whole week the panic of locking our doors. Yeah. But I also had to think about our employees and keeping them safe and making sure that none of them became ill because of something I did. So yeah, locking the doors, that was big.
Yeah, definitely. And it's also, we're trying to help our customers as well. We're trying to keep them safe. That was one of the things that we did. So we did lock the doors. We did send just about everyone home. We had a very small skeleton crew in each one of the offices. Here in East Hampton, we had just a handful of people, including me and you.
Correct. We've been here since day one.
Yes, we have not been at home, which is lucky for us, I can say, because for the folks that were stuck at home or have been stuck at home, it's not fun. So we did continue to do some things. We did continue to operate. We did send everyone home. One of the great things we were able to do is we were a little bit prepared actually for sending everybody home to be able to work from their house and make it seem like they're working from the office. One of the ways we did that is our phone system was actually designed where they can unplug the phone from their desk here, plug it in, give it an internet connection at their house, and it's like they're sitting in the same room. So actually, for all of the months that we didn't have somebody here, and we'll get into that a little bit more, but if you called and you wanted to talk to Gail, or you wanted to talk to Patty, or you wanted to talk to Sue, you were able to do that. You would call in our regular number, and we were able to transfer you right to them, like we're sitting right here in the building. So that actually worked out pretty well.
It was the magic of technology. Yeah, we are very lucky. All of our systems are internet based, so everybody could basically work from home as long as they had a computer and an internet connection. And people didn't realize that unless they came to the front door, they didn't realize that they weren't sitting at their desk.
Right. And I got to see everyone's home offices.
Correct.
Lots of kitchen tables and living room spaces turned into offices.
And you got to meet a lot of pets, too.
I did get to meet a lot of pets. Interesting pets. Dogs, cats, a pig. Yep. It was fun. So, but again, we got everybody home. So that was most of March, or a better part of March. In April, with everybody kind of getting used to working from home, we continue to do things that we normally do. One of the core values of the agency has always been that we help try and support others, or we help try and support our community. That's been something that's been going on forever, right? That's something
for decades. Yeah,
for decades. So, we decided that in April, one of the things that we were going to do is we were trying to figure out ways that we could try and help not only the local businesses that were being affected early on this, but also to try and give a little bit of thanks back to the healthcare workers who, if everyone remembers back in April, which seems like forever ago now, they were going to work. They were essential employees. There was no, they weren't going to be able to go to work because there were people that were getting sick, and they needed to be there. So we came up with this plan to try and give back. So what we did was, for the entire month of April, we purchased gift cards from 20, I think it was close to 27, actually, 27, close to 30 different businesses for $50. Those were everything from restaurants, pizza shops, breweries. We did, I have a
grocery stores.
Grocery store. Yeah.
Yep.
We have a whole list of places that we did. And then what we did was, using the power of social media, we talked to everyone on Facebook, and we told them, you could nominate somebody to be eligible for this raffle. So the criteria was they just had to be somebody who was working in the healthcare field, whether it was in a hospital, in a nursing home, or any kind of facility that was providing that kind of care.
They were essential workers that, were doing the things that all of us were going to need at that time. Could have needed at that time.
Right. So the funny part is I laugh because I said, okay, how many people do we think we're going to get? Maybe we'll get, a few dozen, or maybe a couple, maybe 100 would have been, I would have been pretty happy with, because I had to literally type in all of the names every day off of Facebook, everyone that was that was nominated, which turned out to be, I think we had ended up close to 300 people. They were somewhere in that range. And so every day I would go on Facebook and I would look to see who was nominated, anybody who was new that was nominated. And then we would add them to the raffle. So that was actually a lot of fun. And we were able to give back. We were able to give away 27 gift certificates. They were done Facebook Live. I was the person that was there. We had the pumpkin. A lot of people chuckled about the pumpkin. All the names were in the pumpkin. Now that it's almost Halloween, that's kind of fitting. So that was a really great opportunity. We felt good about trying to give back to the business owners as well as the essential workers. So that was most of April. That was all of April, actually. Then in May, we continued to do things. I mean, we continued to operate at Gen, right? We did everything that we would normally do, with the exception of having face-to-face interactions with folks. We continue to do things like go to the registry of motor vehicles for people. We, all of our customers, the registry actually shrunk down. Obviously, everyone remembers that they used to have all of these offices. They had one here in East Hampton, one in Greenfield. We, of course, went to the East Hampton one because it's right around the corner. Then they actually moved everyone out of all of those, and it was only in Springfield. So we were still going to Springfield. We have a run that we would do pretty much daily, dropping stuff off and then picking it up the next day. So we continue to do that. One of the other things, back to trying to help give back, there was a radio station, and we are a lead sponsor for a $30,000 advertising giveaway. So what they did was any small business who was in the area could be nominated, very similar to what we did. They went onto the radio station's website. They were able to enter in the business name, and then three businesses were drawn at the end of the month, and they received a $10,000 advertising package, if you will. So that was great for the folks that, for a couple of those three businesses. One of them, who one unfortunately had a serious incident that they're moving their location. So I'm sure that $10,000 spot is going to help them when they get back up on their feet.
And everything we tried to do was to try to support the businesses that, had to close and they couldn't open. We were lucky to stay open. Mm-hmm. And whether it was buying the gift certificates or participating in this advertising contest, it was, to help the businesses that weren't as fortunate as we were. I was able to keep everybody employed. I was able to keep, the lights on. There were a lot of businesses that weren't able to do that. So whatever we could to give back, we tried to help in any way we could.
Right. So that in itself is just kind of the core of who we are. One of the other things we did in May is we had service masters come in. They did a deep cleaning of the office, both of our offices, actually. They took that is half a day, actually, where they came in and had the biohazard looking suits, and they had the sprayers, and they came through and really cleaned both of our offices so we could start to prepare for bringing some folks back. Back then, that's May. June, what the heck did we do in June?
I think it was all a blur. I think
kind of a blur.
I think all of us assumed that May, June, I assumed I would have people back in the office by July 4th. And when we realized that this, COVID wasn't getting better, the numbers weren't going down. It wasn't going away. We spent most of June and July just kind of status quo, trying to keep everybody motivated at home and trying to make sure everything was working the way it was supposed to. We still had people buying houses. We had people buying cars left and right. So we still had plenty of work to do. And it was just a matter of making sure everybody was motivated and doing what they needed to do from home and had what they needed to do their job from home. So.
Right. I think I remember part of what we did in June. We did the pets, the employee coworker pets.
Yes, that was we shared pictures of everybody.
So if you go on our Instagram account or our Facebook page, you can see where we had pictures of everyone with their pets. So that was part of what we did there. That was part of July as well. We started to prepare to return some of the staff, at least, in July. And we were able to get a handful. We were we were back to less than half, a little more than half.
We started, one by like every other week. We would bring one more person back with the intention of having, again, the date just kept changing because we thought it was going to be July 4th. And then we thought it was going to be in August.
Right.
And then the next thing you know, it was, Labor Day weekend, and we're finally getting everybody back in the office. So there was just a lot of planning taking place.
Yeah. August, same thing, that same kind of the function was going on. We were still operating, very, efficiently. We started to operate a little bit more efficiently with the people, with folks still being at home, folks still being here. August was like any other summer. We had some crazy storms that blew through the area. Thankfully, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't like we had lost power forever, but I remember we had the typical summer storms that we get. And that put us into September. And in September, we actually got everyone back into the building. So we had had to get everyone and all their equipment that was at home, meaning their computers, their monitors, and everything that we had actually brought home, delivered to them at their house, including their phones. And now we had to get everything back up and running here in the building. So we were able to do that. We also, one of the other things that we did in September that was kind of memorable is that there weren't a lot of events going on. So usually during the year, during the summer especially, there's a lot of golf tournaments that happen, and we are proud sponsors of a lot of those tournaments. And one of those was the Cooley Dickinson Golf Tournament, which I happen to be the co-chair of the event with Natalie Dodona over at East Hampton Savings Bank. And we did our normal hole-in-one shot, which is a $10,000 prize. And then we did what's called the $2,500 putting contest, which is a fun little add-on for the tournament. And so I've been here 15 plus years, and we've been doing these tournaments for longer than that. And we've had a handful of, I think, one hole-in-one winner for like a golf cart or a trip or something like that. But the fun part is the $2,500 putting contest this year. We actually had a winner. So that was a lot of fun. If you go to our Facebook page, you can watch the video. You can hear me saying inappropriate words as I thought the ball was going to go in as it was heading up the hill for the 60-foot putt that Brian Cummins made. He did it with no practice, just walked up, said he was going to hit it and went in. So he won $2,500. So that was a lot of fun. The Cooley Dickinson Golf Tournament actually made a great amount of money. We hit our goal there. So that was a lot of fun. And then here we are in October. And so fall is here, and fall came in like a lion. We had some crazy storms. We had what did they call that? Not a microburst, but a detector or detector.
I couldn't say the word.
Some kind of odd straight line wind storm. We had 88 mile an hour winds recorded on Mount Tom that day. And the weird thing is that storm was like 20 minutes. It was in and out, but it caused, trees down everywhere, like all around town, power out for a lot of folks. So, so we have our full crew here back in the office, for just about a month. Jen, how do you think it's going?
I think it's going great. We have, as required by the state and the CDC, we have a lot of protocols in place to make sure that, everyone's staying safe. So everybody's cubicles are at least 6 feet apart. Everyone's required to wear a mask if they leave their cubicle and are in an open area. Mm-hmm. We have Clorox bleach wipes. Well, not Clorox bleach wipes because you can't get those for anything. But we have cleaning supplies at every station that is used. And there is a clipboard where everybody has to sign in that the date and the time that they cleaned after they used it. But in general, I think everybody's just happy to be back. I'm thrilled to have everybody back in the office. It's so much easier to, talk to people and motivate them when I can see their faces. Zoom is here to stay. I understand that. It's not my favorite thing in the world to do. And not because of the video part of it. I just find it's like being on a conference call. Sometimes it's hard to communicate because everybody's talking over each other. Yeah. So I'm glad to have everybody back in the office. And everybody's doing great. Everyone's doing everything they're supposed to. There's no pushback. Everybody is on board with all the protocols that we have in place. So,
yeah, and we're doing a lot of different things. I mean, we learned over the last 6-8 months how to be a little bit more efficient. We're able to do a lot of things online, or not necessarily online, but electronically via email. We have the DocuSign program, which allows, customers to sign documents without actually coming into the building. They can do that electronically, right?
Right. We can send emails to them and they sign their name electronically via the email. And that's considered a legal signature for us. It's forced us to become, I'm an efficiency weirdo anyway. So it's forced us to even become more efficient, which I love. And it's, we're continuing to look for new products that'll help us do that. We're looking at some, fax server capabilities now where we're just constantly looking for different ways of doing things to make it more efficient so that, our people can do what they do best, which is give you advice and talk to you. And if you call about a tree falling on your house, they have the time to talk to you about it. If you call about your child getting their license, they have the time to talk to you about it because they're not doing processing that can be done, more efficiently somewhere else or by somebody else. So for me, it has been a lot, but I love it because it's forcing us to become so much more efficient and so much more involved in technology in our office so we can do the people part better.
Right. And the office has become a lot cleaner than it's ever been. I'm sure of that. We have, like you said, there's clipboards all over the place. The customers are dealing with it pretty well. I mean, we haven't had too many issues. Again, we can see customers. We have seen customers outside. We're not having anybody in the building yet. We are still a little bit of ways from doing that, I think.
It'll be dependent on the weather. Again, we're encouraging everybody for their safety and for the staff's safety to do everything over the phone or the mail or email or DocuSign. There are those situations where a client has to come in and has to come to the office and see somebody. And, we're doing that out in the parking lot right now. We're doing that out front of our Florence location. And it's working because it's quick.
Right.
We can have a conversation over the phone. We can meet somebody for coffee somewhere and have a conversation if they want to. My goal again is to try to keep everybody here safe. So I'm kind of holding off on having, random people just come in for now.
Yeah. And I think we're working on ways to maybe, if we do start to do that, maybe it's by an appointment only, where people are used to just driving up, pulling up and saying, hey, I want to come in and talk about my insurance policy. And if you want to come in, we're working on, some way to maybe have a secluded area, one office space where we're going to designate that's the space where you're going to meet somebody. Time will tell. We're kind of working on those things.
We're always planning. So we have plans in place when the time comes for appointment only visits from clients where, again, it'll be a segregated area that'll be cleaned after every visit. It'll be appointment only. One of the things that COVID has forced us to do is to plan for almost every single situation. And so that is a situation we're planning for. Hopefully this time next year, we will not be talking about this anymore, and I won't hear COVID again. But for the time being, we have to do the best that we can with the tools that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. So with Halloween right around the corner, so that kind of brings us up to speed as to what's happening in the office, what's going on, and so anybody who, is our customer or wants to be a customer, there are still ways we can continue to operate. One thing I will mention as well, as we talked about the meeting out front, we also have Dropbox at each location. So if anybody wants to make a payment, we have a lot of folks that come in and make payments. They can still do that. We have a Dropbox that's checked daily. It's checked out, hourly actually, during the regular business days. So there are ways that you can get paperwork or payments or anything like that you want.
And we also will always send Pat out to pick stuff up. So
yes, I'm more than willing to.
Pat is the gopher, so he goes out and gets stuff. So
I do. I have been known to visit more than a handful of places during the day to pick up checks or get signatures or anything like that. So it's definitely something that we do. So one of the things we're trying to do is to have a little fun and to give back, as we talked about earlier, some of the things that we're doing. And with October around the corner, there's a couple events that we have actually over the last maybe 2 or 3 years have been a lot of fun for us.
Yeah, we really enjoyed the Rag Shack Parade in East Hampton and the Halloween Parade in Florence. It was a great community. They're both great community events, but it was also a great team event. Everybody loved participating because you got to see kids in costumes and
families.
Families in costumes. It was the cutest thing. And Pat and I were talking, and because we're always trying to figure out ways of engaging the community, participating in the community, and giving back to the community. And I said to him, I was really bummed that we weren't going to be able to give out candy this year.
Yeah.
Because it's a highlight for us.
Yeah.
Our kids are older; they don't trick or treat anymore. So we love participating, and we kind of came up with the idea of.
Well, the great thing about both the Rag Shag in East Hampton and the Rag Shag in Florence were they both literally walked by our front doors.
Correct.
So East Hampton had us actually. For years, it used to actually go up through Main Street and towards Williston Ave, towards the Williston campus, and then they took a shift and ended the Rag Shag Parade over in the East Hampton Savings Bank parking lot, which coincidentally is right in front of our office. So when they did that, that was a great opportunity for us to get out front and hand out candy. Same thing in Florence. It actually comes from the park and goes right up Main Street. So that was kind of a great opportunity for us, as you said, to give out lots and lots of candy.
Right. And we have some people who have some talent in our offices other than insurance, some decorating talent. And in our Florence office, Susan and Michelle and Becky have been doing the decorating and all year long, amazing decorations.
Season,
And here in East Hampton, we were kind of lame. We didn't do too much decorating.
We did not.
Our building, we don't have a big window or anything like that. So, but we have, Tanya and Sally and a bunch of other people here who love Halloween more than they love probably any holiday.
Yep.
So we, came up, I said, let's decorate here. Let's do something, let's see if we can decorate the sign, decorate the front, and entice people to at least look at the office, even though we won't have hundreds of kids walking by like we did years past. So that kind of brought up, how do we get people to engage with us?
Sure. Yeah.
And thought of the idea that, how about we decorate outside of our offices. We ask them to come to our office and take a picture in front of our decorations.
They don't have to come in the building.
They're not coming in the building. They can do it at night. They can do it on the weekends, whatever.
Anytime.
They can socially distance. They can come individually. They can wear masks.
They can wear costumes.
Yes.
They don't have to wear costumes. You can just stand out front because there'll be some things out there. There'll be in the East Hampton office, we're working on a scarecrow that should hopefully in the next couple of days be out there.
It'll be there by Monday.
And it'll be there. And then the Florence office, same thing. They have some great decorating skills. There's a bunch of hay bales out there. There are corn stalks, and I think there'll be some crows.
Yeah.
There'll be crows at both of them. Thanks to Walter, Becky's husband.
Yeah.
And not real crows, just to be clear.
No, not real crows.
Decorations. So that is a great opportunity. So if you know anybody who happens to be driving by the office
or walking by,
and either one of our offices. So we have 2 offices, obviously one here at 6 Campus Lane in East Hampton. And then over in Florence, we are on Main Street. We're at 63 Main Street. So all you got to do is walk by, take out your camera, do a little selfie with our scarecrow or any of the decorations out front. We hope you love the decorations. Over the next couple of days, we'll post pictures of both of the front of the offices so you can see them, and we'll do a full write-up on what you can do. So whether it's on Instagram or Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or however you want to do it, as long as you take a picture and you tag us that you came by and saw our decorations, we will do what?
We will make, for every tag we get on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter of you in front of one of our buildings, we will make a $5 donation to the local organization that promoted this event. So for East Hampton, it's the Parks and Rec division of the city of East Hampton.
Yep.
And in Florence, it's the Florence Civic and Business Association. So for every tag on Facebook that we get, every unique tag that we get on Facebook, I will make a $5 donation towards those 2 organizations who normally would have put on these events. because again, we love the event. We love these two organizations. We love what they do for the community. And this was just another way for us to stay engaged, but to also give back.
Yeah, absolutely. And they could, I'm sure that both these organizations are going to be looking for funding. They usually do look for some kind of help to make these events happen. The East Hampton, the Parks and Rec, I think the East Hampton Community Center is part of this, the whole putting it together. And the Florence Civic Business Association does a great job they have a couple events a year. I'm sure that this would be helpful. So if you are driving by, walking by, jogging by, whatever it may be, tell your friends, tell your family. So $5 a tag. So
correct.
If we get
100 people, that's $500.
That's $500 to split between the two, right? So we're going to do $250 to East Hampton, $250 to the Florence.
Yep.
So
whatever the total is, we'll split between the two.
We'll split it up. So we'll do this, and we're going to run this to November 1st.
Correct.
Just after Halloween, literally, and so it'll be a lot of fun.
Right.
We look forward to seeing all of your costumes, or at least your pictures at the front of our offices.
Because we're going to miss seing all the little kids. So
we are.
It'll be great to be able to see some pictures online.
Definitely. So I think it's been a lot of fun. Thank you so much. I would look forward to hopefully writing a big check to both of those organizations. So Jen, as I want to again thank you for taking the time to sit with me.
It was painless, somewhat.
Thankfully, yeah. And no video, but we are going to do a picture tomorrow. I did not tell her that until just now, so it's easier to do it while there's other witnesses. So, wait, there is no witnesses here. So.
Ask for forgiveness instead of permission.
That's right. So it has been fun. Thank you for helping update everyone on what's been happening here in the office with the Fink and Paris crew. So with that, it is time to wrap up the episode. Every episode, if you've been paying attention, listen to the last 7 episodes. One thing we do at the end is we do what's called That's Just Not True. That's Just Not True is one of those things that we hear from our customers or we read on the internet about insurance that is just not true. Today's That's Just Not True, since we are heading into the winter months, is about coverage for vehicles that you are going to take off the road for the winter and put into storage. We have people come to us and say, I'm thinking of taking my motorcycle or my car off the road for the winter, so I want to cancel the policy. I'm going to store it in my garage or maybe in my barn at my house, and I'm not worried if anything happens because my homeowners will cover if something happens to it while it's in the garage or in the shed or in the barn or whatever it may be. Guess what? Jen?
It's not covered.
That's not covered. It's just not true. First, if you're going to cancel an auto or motorcycle policy, you have to turn in the plates. And once you cancel the policy, you lose all the coverage that you had that came along with those plates and the policy. So in the event that there is a fire in the garage or the shed, or the vehicle is, let's say, stolen, your homeowner's policy does not actually include coverage for vehicles that are subject to motor vehicle registration. So if you're putting a vehicle in storage, you should not cancel the policy. You can do things like reduce the liability limits, and you could talk to our account reps here on other ways that they can help. But you should always keep comprehensive coverage to make sure that if there is a fire or if there is a theft of the vehicle, that you have some kind of coverage. So again, we hear these things all the time. People say, my friend told me that I could do this. That's just not true. So this is one of those things. If you're taking a vehicle off the road, make sure you call your agent and talk through what could happen if there's a fire or if it's stolen or if it's damaged some way. Tree falls on it. Where does that coverage come from? Auto policy, not the homeowner's policy, which we have been telling a lot of people with all the storms that we've had. So thanks again, Jen. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to having you here again. I'm sure you're going to help do one of these again. Yes?
Maybe.
So with that, that's going to wrap up episode 8. We hope we made it fun and informative, and please take a minute to subscribe to this podcast and share it with anyone that you think would benefit from listening to us. And remember, if you're looking for insurance here in Massachusetts for your home, auto, or any commercial operation, you can find us at insuringyourway.com, and of course on any of our social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Have a great day.
Thank you.